Yeah, so I'm an agronomist from the start with a natural science background, but when I started my PhD, I was more interested in the social sciences and in the people doing farming than the farming itself. So I've been into local and organic food systems for a long time, and also looking at the whole value chain between consumers and farmers, sometimes looking at the interaction between these two groups, but also on the intermediaries and how to scale up sustainable systems into more like larger scale systems, so that they have a larger impact. So that's some of my research that I think fits into this project. My department at the Royal Institute of Technology is called Sustainable Development, Environmental Science and Engineering. So we are sort of the sustainability department of our university, dealing with, from the, hardcore natural sciences, measuring things in the water or in the air, to social sciences and engineering and a mixture of everything as well. Yeah, so it's a new initiative where a regions just south of Stockholm, the practice partners there, they want to get organized around formulating an eco-district, which is a European Union way of enhancing organic farming in different ways. So they want to formulate this, and they have a project going on this. So they want to make more food travel from farmers that is organic or like sustainably produced to consumers. And in our case, we're looking at the municipalities. And one particular municipality has a goal of increasing regionally sustainably produced food, because that's where it's lacking. It's hard to get those products because there's so not enough production. Yeah, I mean, cooperatives, like in Sweden we would say farmer associations or economic associations. It's a very common form of organizing economic activities when you're more than one person in Sweden, and especially for farmers or retailers or for processing companies. So we have, like a bit more than 100 years ago, a lot of cooperatives were forming to sort of increase the power of these actors in this food system. So now we still have them. We have, for example, a large retailer called Co-op, which is a cooperative form, but it's for profit. And we have a large dairy called Arla, who is the same. They comprised of members are the dairy farmers, but it's running as an international corporation for profit, and so on. So we have these large-scale cooperatives, but then we also have new types with a smaller, but they also have the same organizational form. So you are a member and you pay a fee, and you have this board, but you might normally be 10 members instead of thousands. So this form of organizing is very common. Yes, Diet for a Green Planet, that's a public meal concept that was developed by one of the municipalities in this region that we're looking at, Södertälje municipality. And they've been working with it like for over 20 years as a way of forming and organizing their meal services into more sustainably meal services. So it has 5 components. One is healthy and tasty food. So that's sort of the starting point. To have more organic food, to have local food in season, and to reduce waste of food, and to have less meat products, to sort of be aligned with the climate action goals and things like that. So these are the 5 components, and they act on it in different ways. For example, through this eco-district, trying to get more access to local and organic food, but also through how they produce the food in their kitchens, in the public kitchens, like making it more vegetarian and finding out how should you prepare meals that kids like in a way that is more also sustainable. That's not always easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we succeed with our project, what the transformation we would like to see together with our practice partners is Well, three different things actually. One thing is to spread this diet for a green planet to more municipalities in the region, for them also to be active consumers in these value chains. That's from the consumption part, and from the production part, the transformation we'd like to see is that, strengthened value chains of organic and local food, because they are not so, they are there, but they might be strengthened and be better profitable for farmers and so on. That's the second one. And the third one would be this municipality also has a food provisioning strategy, a food strategy. They haven't implemented it, just like words on a paper right now. So they would like to start implementing it and communicating about it, because it also taps into both their meal concept and these value chains, strengthening of these local value chains. So it's like they go together, but they're different focuses. Well, what we are concerned about, or what will challenges in the project, well, we only have 3 years. It's not extremely well funded, so obviously we can only do so much. We can make examples, we can investigate and make this current state, the vision, but we might not have time to do a lot of impact, maybe, because it's not so much that can happen. But I think the engagement of the practice partners is very high, so that's a large potential. And that's, we talk a lot about food preparedness or food contingencies, or whatever I don't know what the English word is in Sweden now, because we have none of that is left. In Finland, they have everything intact from the Cold War. We have, abolished all the storages or whatever. We've just, it's a free new world. We don't have to care. But now we're realizing we have to care again. Yeah. So then it's a question, how do you do that? Do you build a lot of storages and just buy things and put it there? Yeah. Or do you produce sustainably so that you have capacity to produce also in crisis? Yep. So that's, Yep. And it's obviously the latter that I would like to see, but the politicians might go for the first one, because that's easy. You just build a building and buy things. Yeah. Yeah, the reason we should think about the way we procure, like we buy food and produce food in our context, in Sweden, for example, in this region, is that it's heavily dependent on imports, the way we structure our food system at the moment, which is fine if there are available imports, but it's not fine if we have war, which we have, or other crises somewhere else where we get our food from. So then we have to balance that with a viable and sustainable, more regional and local production that can sort of balance up if something happens with the imports. But on the other hand, we also need to balance the regional production with the imports, maybe because we get droughts, we have floodings, whatever, that might be, detrimental to the harvest locally. So we need this balance, and that's because we need to decrease vulnerability of the system. So it's not about the production system only, it's a provisioning and preparedness system as well. So we have to think, that's the mantra we have very often talk about in my research circles, that we need to think about sustainable production and resilient production at the same time, and also the healthy food in combination with this. So we have to have these three thoughts in our mind at the same time. We can't just focus on sustainability of the production and not care about the resilience of the system, and vice versa. So that's why it's important. Well, if I could wish for like the best outcome possible for our like a case study area, well, that would be like to this eco district to have some kind of a organizational effect, that you are covering all parts of the value chain, that all actors are really coming to their full potential. Maybe we need to introduce, or there are possibilities for new actors to step in, because you might need intermediaries between farmers and consumers, for example, to help things going, to make leverage. And increase sustainable production and consumption of these foods. That would be the great thing.